This is the first part of the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus one day came to a mountainside and began to teach the Sermon on the Mount. He starts off by saying who the Lord blesses. Those who are poor who realize they need the Lord will have the kingdom of heaven. Those who mourn will be comforted. Those who are humble will be abundant. Those who wish for justice will have what they wish for. Those who are merciful will be shown mercy. Those who are pure will see God. Those who work for peace will be called the Lord's children. Those who are punished for doing right will have the kingdom of heaven. Then Jesus says that they are blessed when people hate them because they follow Jesus. Matthew 5:12.
Be happy about it. Be very glad, for a great reward awaits you in heaven. And remember, the ancient prophets were persecuted in the same way.
Jesus calls us the salt of the earth, but we are useless if we lose our flavour. I believe this means that if we don't use what God has given us, we will be useless. In verse 14, Jesus calls us
the light of the world, like a city on a hilltop that cannot be hidden.
Verse 15.
No one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand, where it gives light to everyone in the house.
Jesus says that we should let the good things we do shine so God will be praised. According to the Bible Project, people back then believed that Jesus didn't take the laws God gave Moses seriously, which is why he says this in verse 17.
Don't misunderstand why I have come. I did not come to abolish the law of Moses or the writings of the prophets. No, I came to accomplish their purpose.
Jesus says that until both heaven and earth disappear, neither will God's law until it's accomplished. Verse 19.
So, if you ignore the least commandment and teach others to do the same, you will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But anyone who obeys God's laws and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
Verse 20.
But I warn you, unless your righteousness is better than the righteousness of the teachers of religious law and the Pharisees, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven.
According to Philip Anthony Speaks, the Pharisees draw people away from the truth, away from God. To be righteous is to be right with the Lord. They draw people away from the Lord. Jesus says that if you're ever angry at someone, call someone an idiot, or curse someone, you are guilty of murder. Verse 23.
So, if you are presenting a sacrifice at the altar in the temple, and you suddenly remember that someone has something against you,
verse 24.
Leave your sacrifice there at the altar. Go and be reconciled to that person. Then come and offer your sacrifice to God.
Verse 26.
When you are on the way to court with your adversary, settle your differences quickly. Otherwise, your accuser may hand you over to the judge, who will hand you over to an officer, and you will be thrown into prison.
Verse 25.
And if that happens, you surely won't be free again until you have paid the last penny.
Jesus says that if you look at someone with lust, you have committed adultery. Verse 30.
And if your hand, even your stronger hand, causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell.
This does not mean to cut off your hand. This means to not keep things that cause you to sin. Jesus says that the law says a man can divorce his wife with a divorce notice. Verse 32.
But I say that a man who divorces his wife, unless she has been unfaithful, causes her to commit adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman also commits adultery.
The old law says that you cannot break your vows to God, but Jesus says not to make any vows, not by heaven since it is God's throne, not by the earth since it's his footstool, not by a city, it says Jerusalem, since you don't own it, not by your head because you can't even control your hair colour. Jesus says to just say yes or no, and that anything beyond that is from the devil. Jesus says that the law says that the punishment must match the injury, but Jesus says to not retaliate. According to the Bible Project, he also lists ways to respond. If someone slaps your cheek, hand them the other. The Bible Project says, Doing this will force them to treat you like a person. If someone sues you for your shirt, give them your coat too. The Bible Project says back then, taking a poor man's coat was against the law, so taking their shirt was an evil workaround. But doing this will expose the injustice. If a Roman soldier forces you to carry his gear for a mile, go for a second mile. The Bible Project says Roman soldiers were able to force someone to carry their bags a mile. Carrying two will assert your humanity by choosing to treat them like a friend. The Bible Project says that back then one of the laws were love your neighbour, but people would add and hate your enemy. But Jesus says to love your enemies and to pray for those who hurt you. Jesus says by doing this, we will be acting like the Lord's children. Verse 45.
For he gives his sunlight to both the evil and the good, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust alike.
Verse 46.
If you love only those who love you, what reward is there for that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much.
Verse 48.
But you are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect.